Be sure to listen to the entire episode because I share some really fun tips and tricks and stuff that I have been really utilizing over the last month. I think this episode's going to be so fun today because I am wanting to do like a monthly recap, and I'm hopefully going to make this kind of something that's more of a habit. What I want to talk about is what we've been doing on the farm, what went well, some of my current favorites, some tools, some things that have been like lifesavers to me, and just share with you a little bit of a monthly recap. I have decided I am not doing any fancy intro, outro music because that's not how we have real conversations around here. But if you're new here, hi, I'm Sam. I am a girl mom to 3 girls, which we homeschool. I also homeschool my niece. We live on a 40-acre farm in north central Arkansas, and I love coffee, deep conversations, and t-shirts that fit the occasion, such as they say the right thing for how I'm feeling at the moment, which I may be known to emotionally buy t-shirts, but we're not going to talk about that today. I am so glad you're here. I want this podcast to be a place where we have real conversations, where we get vulnerable, where we talk about the messiness of life, messiness of past, the messiness of doing something of value. And I also hope that you can go away from this podcast with some actual practical tips and tricks that you can apply to your own life that will help you better steward the resources that God has given you and leave a legacy for your children. So let's get into it. Okay, so first, let's do a whole farm update. One of the most exciting things that's happened on the farm is we had 3 lambs born this month. 2 of them were born yesterday. So excited about that. Mamas are doing so good. They cleaned them off really quickly, got them up nursing, and so that's just really amazing. I know that the end of January doesn't seem like the ideal time for lambing, but actually, according to YouTube University, because that's where we're learning a lot about our sheep farming and stuff, it's actually one of the best times to have lambs because as long as baby is nursing really well and mama's keeping it close, they can actually withstand some pretty cold temperatures. Whenever they're born in the middle of winter, they also don't have to deal with the pesky things like ticks and flies and parasites and all of that stuff that grows in warm weather, and that's really good and that helps baby a lot. Something else that we've learned is that whenever they're born early in the year, they're obviously exclusively on mama's milk, and then about the time that the grass starts growing in with those fresh shoots, that's whenever they're about ready to transition over to grass. And so it's actually really awesome for them because of being able to eat the new stuff, and they kind of get a kickstart whenever they start eating grass. We do have a shelter up because we also got a pretty good little snowstorm and some sleet and stuff, and that's still on the ground and lasting quite a while. But with the shelter, our guard dog out there, and the mama's doing such a good job, we really haven't been worried at all. The first lamb was born, I think, a couple weeks ago, and it's thriving. And then the other ones that were born yesterday are also doing well. And it's just so exciting to have those first babies born on the farm. It kind of makes me feel like we just reached like the legit level. So anyway, that's really fun. And then I talked about how we got snow. We ended up, I think, with maybe 4 inches of snow and then quite a bit of ice on top. Of course, the girls thought it was awesome and they had an absolute ball. I'm totally over it, but we still have snow as of this recording and ice on the ground. So yeah, anyway. But the storm didn't really affect us too much. We stay pretty prepped and ready for weather as it is. When you live out in the country and about 30 minutes from any major store, you kind of learn that whenever you buy two, and you just stay ahead. And so, yeah, we were stuck at home for about a week, and I still haven't left the house, but there really is no worries. We have plenty to eat. We also have our wood stove, and so thankfully we didn't lose power, but if we had, it was still nice knowing that without power, we could have been perfectly fine with our wood stove. We could just cook beans on top of the stove or whatever and stay nice, warm, toasty. So That's so nice whenever you kind of plan ahead and you set up your home where when bad weather does hit, you still have that peace of mind that everything is fine and you could make it without having to go into town or buy resources for a while. So I really love that we've been doing that. Another big project this month, and if you follow me on TikTok, you probably saw this, is that we rented a boom lift and we trimmed the crap out of a massive amount of trees. We have trees all around our house and they were leaning towards the house, and if a bad storm or high winds or anything were to come through, we would have trees falling on the house. So we rented a lift and we trimmed them back, and we tried to weight them where they were leaning in the other direction so that, Lord willing, if we do get weather, they would actually fall away from the house and not towards the house. That was a huge project. I'm not gonna lie, it stressed me out. Our yard was absolutely full of limbs and debris, and I am someone who loves order and neatness and everything looking tidy, and that stressed me out. We have the best neighbors ever, and our neighbor came over with his tractor and the grapple attachment, and I'm telling you what, that was absolutely amazing, and it saved us probably 2 days of work, and we got the yard cleaned up super quick, which helped my stress levels and made everybody happy. But that was really great. It's amazing to have great neighbors. Truly, when they say that your neighbors make or break where you live, it's really true. So I'm so thankful for that. One thing that I did love about that project was going up in the lift. And even though I don't love heights, it was really fun. And if you follow me on TikTok, you can actually see what the farm looks like from 50 feet up. That was really fun. Another project is we set up the electric fence around the sheep pasture, which is a good sized pasture back behind our house. We cleared fence rows and we ran the electric fence, and now we can rotationally graze the sheep, which is awesome. And the fence rows look so much better now, instead of it being such a major thing to move our sheep and everything like we want. It's literally the whole perimeter has been electric fenced off, and all we got to do is just run a couple strands of regular poly wire and just move them as we want to. So that's really been great. The charger that we got can run about 9 miles of fence, which is super crazy. So the long-term goal is to eventually have electric fence around the entire property so that we can keep the original fencing and just use the electric fence for sheep and then eventually cows. I've also been working on getting our freezer cleaned out. We're buying half a cow from my sister who lives in Missouri, and they run their own cattle operation. And we don't actually have a ton of meat in the freezer, but we have a lot of junk in the freezer. Like, I pulled out a deer hide from a couple years ago that my oldest wanted to tan, which never happened, and it was taking up like half a drawer in our freezer. So that had to go. And I've also started pulling things out and freeze drying them. So vegetables, fruit, even spaghetti sauce that I had frozen because we had a ton of leftovers. I've been freeze drying all of that because it just will last so much longer and be shelf stable and won't take up any freezer room. And so electricity can go out, anything can happen, and the food will still be there. Like with the spaghetti sauce, being able to just pull a jar off the shelf, pour some chicken broth in it to reconstitute it, and then heat it up and have this rich spaghetti sauce to put over noodles. I mean, it's so easy and it saves so much time and effort when you're just trying to look for a quick meal for your family. So I've been using the freeze dryer a ton. Also, something super fun is that I applied and got approved as an affiliate for Harvest Right, which is the brand of our freeze dryer. And I am so excited about that. I don't want this podcast or my channels to be something to where I'm just selling all the time, because that's so annoying whenever it's just tons of ads and people are always selling and you're not even sure if they believe in the products. But I do think it would be really awesome to be able to make commission off of stuff that I do truly love. And I would recommend it anyway, even if I wasn't making anything off of it, because I truly love it. I mean, with my freeze dryer, I might even love it more than my coffee maker. Maybe. It's so close. And that's saying something. So that was exciting to be able to have that affiliate link get approved. And I'll even leave it here in the show notes of the podcast, because I mean, if you're in the market for a freeze dryer, I think you get a discount and then I get commission. It's just amazing. And I think everyone should have one, but I mean, yeah, I know it's a pretty good investment. So I did want to do a section on books and podcasts, because usually I'm pretty avid with listening to books and listening to podcasts, but I haven't really read any books this month. And I also haven't really listened to many podcasts. This month has been more about putting things into action and having less noise in my ears, and I can get overstimulated really quick, so this has actually been a really good thing. So I don't have any favorite books or podcasts for this month. I probably will for next month, but I just don't for this month. But I do have to share some of my favorite AI tools for this month that have been such lifesavers when it's come to farm and life and just everything. So one of my favorite things right now is going to ChatGPT before I make any purchases at all. And I use a prompt like, I want you to scour the internet and give me any relevant coupon codes for, and then I name whatever shop it is that I'm purchasing or whatever. And oh my goodness. So ChatGPT will be able to scour the internet, and it can even pull from pages that we may not actually find just from a web search. And it can find affiliate codes or discounts. And I have saved anywhere from 20 to 40% on a lot of purchases that I have made just from it pulling codes for me. Now, sometimes one code won't work, but then you just move on to the other one and it will. I highly recommend doing this before buying anything. It has saved us a lot of money. And it's really cool because there's a lot of people who may be affiliates with these products, and then you're just pulling their link anyway. So you're probably helping someone, and you're definitely helping yourself save some money. So that's been one of my favorite ways lately of using ChatGPT. Another tool I'm loving is Gemini, which is Google's AI, and I have that on my phone, and I constantly use it for reminders and calendar entries. I can tell it to add bookings, tasks, reminders. I can even take a picture of dates. Oh my goodness, I just figured this out. I can even take a picture of dates and have it add them all to my Google Calendar. So that's kind of the beauty of Gemini, is that it is connected to all of your Google stuff. And I know a lot of us have the Gmail, we use the Google Calendar, and whether we're an Android or an Apple person. And this has been awesome to just have it connect and literally just be able to do basically with the push of a button to just say like, hey, I need you to add this event to the calendar, and I need a reminder 2 days ahead of time that this event is coming up, and it will do it for you. And another example is I got a new tax filing schedule in the mail. So they moved me from a monthly filing to a quarterly filing, which I don't love, but okay, whatever. It just means though that I have to remember now, instead of once a month, once a quarter, to file my taxes. And it's harder to do that than just having like a monthly date when I do it all. But I took a picture of all the dates of when all my taxes would be due, and then I asked Gemini to add them to my calendar with a reminder a week ahead that they were going to be coming due. And now I don't even have to think about it. It added them all to my calendar. They'll pop up a notification a week ahead of time. So I was able to add all those dates without having to like physically go in and go to each month that would be, or each quarter, and then add the all the stuff. So it saved me a ton of time, and it just got added basically immediately. So if you aren't utilizing Google Gemini and with the Google calendars, I think it's going to save you so much time and effort. I mean, have you ever had that time where you've made plans with somebody and you're like, I need to add that to my calendar, and then you totally forget? And you either get reminded last minute that you guys had planned something, or a week you start to panic because you're like, oh, Did I plan something? Did we plan something? I don't remember. Well, in this case, now you can plan something. You can just go in, click the Gemini button, just talk into it, add this event to my calendar, give me a week reminder that it's coming up, and then it will immediately add it to your calendar and you don't even have to worry about it. So it's not something where you're like, I need like 2 minutes or 3 minutes, like physically go in and add to the calendar. It will just do it for you. That saves so much time and has just been, it's such an awesome thing. And I feel like I could just go on with that. I love tools that make it to where I can steward my time even better, and I'm not having to be stressed out because I forget to add something to my calendar, or I end up wasting a bunch of time trying to add something to my calendar. So this month I made a huge shift and I got off of Instagram and Threads. I didn't deactivate the account. I just put like a note in there on my grid that said I'm not here anymore, and then my bio says I'm not here and I don't answer messages. And so I'm completely off of that stuff, and I am not actively creating content for anything except TikTok now, which has actually helped me stay very consistent on TikTok. I'm still on Facebook, so you can still find me on Facebook, but it's just going to be my personal profile. Even with my photography business, I am in the works of transitioning and pretty much not officially closing my photography page, but closing it with the same way that I did with Instagram, which basically says that if you want to find out more or follow me, you actually need to go to my personal page, and then I'll post on there. But the best way I get found with my business is with my Google My Business anyway, so I will be pretty much putting all my time and effort in just my Google search engine juice. Because let's be real, if you're looking for something, you're usually going to type it into Google and you're going to see what businesses pop up first. You can still find me on my personal Facebook, but it's all going to be reposts of TikToks. So it's all going to be reposts. I'm not putting any time and effort into actually creating Facebook content. I also push this podcast to YouTube. So it does mean I have a YouTube channel that's got these podcast episodes on there. And I have just been repurposing the TikToks as shorts on there as well, just to kind of keep that channel active. But I think what's been really helpful is just focusing on one type of content and doing only that. And then if I think about it, I will push it or repost it to Facebook or YouTube. But otherwise, I'm not super stressed about keeping those as active. I've only been on TikTok with this new channel for this last month, and I have, as of this recording, I have gained over 330 followers, and my highest video right now has 27,000 views, and then I have several other videos who have gotten in the thousands, like 3,000 views. I am excited about that, to see that growth and to see how just being really consistent in that. I try to post a video every day except Sundays, or there are some days I've been missing, but for the most part, every day that I would actually be working, then I'll post a video, and the growth has been really awesome with just that consistency. My hope is with the podcast, you get a true inside scoop of my life and you get the in-depth, and then if you're following me on social media, you get more of just the snippets of life. So that's it for this episode. That was all I could think of right now on the spot of a full farm life and everything update. There really wasn't anything this month that I was like, oh, I wish we hadn't done that, or that didn't go very well. This was a really good start of the year. So thanks for joining me. Come back next week for another episode. And if you really want to show love and support, please subscribe, leave a review. That would mean so much to me. And until next time, go out, take those gifts that God has given you and steward them well.